Spotty. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We got another chart talk coming at you. It is Wednesday, February 15th. We got the market flagging. We broke out of a pretty big macro downtrend pattern. Without further ado, let's get right into the market outlook. Let's try to get it quick because this internet is shoddy. All right, so I got the S&P 500 up right here. Since the beginning of January 2022, we began this bear market, this downtrend. Since then, every time we've tested this macro resistance line, we've sold off. And now what are we seeing? The market's uptrending. We've broken out of that macro pattern, and now we've got a little momentum flag forming here. And this is our second time recording. I had a nice little spiel before about why I like this channel, but I'll try to deliver it pretty concisely here. So previous times when the market's kind of moseyed along to this next resistance line, we've seen things like this upward slope kind of right here, and it's been like the last push before the market ends up selling off once again. This little push, then it leads to a big sell-off. When we attacked this trend line, we went straight up into the trend line and boom, sold off. What we're seeing here is very, very constructive price action. And the thing I love most about this daily flag that's forming here is that it's descending. When flags are descending, it's bulls powering up for the next move higher. We're loading up on stock, we're flagging out. It's a continuation bull flag. And that's what I think is forming right now. And we saw something very important happen yesterday, which is the CPI came in line. A little bit of hawkish commentary out of the Fed. But the important part is the market didn't fall apart. The market didn't react to the downside on it. Right now, the market is just, taking good news or bad news in stride, turning bad news to good news. Whatever it is, we're just continuously seeing positive price action. This earnings season that was so feared is actually producing a ton of positive results because the expectations were so low and stocks are so beaten down. So, of the last 15 earnings seasons, let's say, and I don't have data on this, I'm just kind of, spitballing it. Of the last 15, I think this is the most positive earnings season we've seen because there's so many stocks gapping up and so much demand out there once these stocks report earnings and it's not as bad as expected. I'm not concerned about the macro picture in a year, in 6 months down the line. I'm trading for the next month ahead, and all I've seen is really, really positive action, really constructive action. We make a move higher, we're flagging out. Now we take out that 415. It looks like we got room to 425, 430. So I'm definitely positioning myself for that. But overall, I think something I've been working on. We were talking about this before. Not overacting based on what I think the market's going to do next. There's a ton of positive charts out there. I want to trade that individual chart, individual name, individual entry, individual stop, and not, get too worried about the macro picture. So that's the number one thing I'm going to do going forward. But that's kind of how I'm seeing things right now. What you thinking over there?
I mean, you definitely covered a lot.
Usually do.
But just like the last part you mentioned about the spike kind of run to 425, that 430 area, I'm in a very similar camp with you as well, that you mentioned we broke that major downtrend and the market looks very good in the short term, this flag that we've been in. And then I think we just are continuing shifting this bigger base that I'm trying to kind of draw out here. And that would run us up to that 430. Again, very healthy action. All the sectors pretty much all setting up and forming their own type of mini flag, relatively speaking. There's even the really weaker sectors. Utilities is a great sign. If we want to expect the markets to continue higher, we want to see utilities, a risk-off sector, trading lower. So that's a good sign. And really just the only other two is healthcare and consumer staples. But even staples down here is just kind of starting to base when it was just breaking down through its recent support. And you can see this little red line here. But for the most part, all these sectors are setting up very strongly, trying to find the weakest one, so utilities, and that's a good sign for the market overall. So things look good. Again, 10-year is ticking up a little bit. This 3.3 definitely starting to act as some support down here. So we'll see if it can continue to H over and if it can continue to put in lower pivot high. So this, 4% area.
So the one thing that's concerning right now is if you draw that kind of like the flag I was drawing before, it looks pretty good. That's the number one concern of the market, I think, is the 10-year ripping and kind of looking like it's going to break that mini downtrend. If it gets above that, was that second pivot? Right around 3.9?
Yeah, about 4%.
So we get above that area, that could start to settle in some downside to the market, but we'll see how things react from here.
All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, so a few things I'm looking at. Again, I think there's a ton of action out there. I know we're looking at a few of the same names, so I'll leave those for you, buddy. But I got in this, and this is what I'm going to focus on all earnings season. Very simple trades. This Pakar, strong gap up on earnings, low earnings flag. I bought this 73 today, looking good. All right, bought that 74. That looks great. I have a feeler in this Chewy. It didn't give me a great opportunity to add yet, but I bought off this, and we see the base, this macro base that's forming. And this is what I was talking about. I don't know if we got in this recording last one. We're seeing these names with really positive action. Chewy, Snow is an example. There's move off this, turning up 200. There's GLBE, for example. These names that were leaders in the previous market run, they're coming back a little bit. A lot of damage has been done. There's a lot of great action in those names, but I digress. MAS is Masco. Great macro base here. And then what do we love? We love a tight lower earnings flag under resistance. So this is earnings day here. And now we're since flagging. We need to see it take out that 57.13 area to get involved. That's definitely waiting around for us. This boot is very similar to this Pakar. All right. Right? Do we see the similarities? Strong earnings day ever since downtrending, little descending flag. Oh, like the S&P 500. See, it can all be a lot simpler. This Cardinal Health, this one's there hasn't been that much strength this week in it. We haven't seen value names as popping as the high beta names, like I just mentioned. But I think this is like a can't miss trade for me. It's just a beautiful earnings flag. This name's gotten upgrade after upgrade. Their guidance is raised. Everything I want to see in a chart and a setup is in this Cardinal Health, minus maybe huge sector strength. That's what I would like to see more in the healthcare space. But besides that, it looks really good through this 80-40 area. And then this LW is about to trigger me in 20 cents. 125 is my trigger. And very simple chart, very simple trade. Beautiful move on earnings ever since. How many weeks we got? You remember the video? 4 to 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Working on 6 week of consolidation. 4 to 6 weeks of the earnings basis, and then we go.
Oh my God! From the remember that from the
video.
Funny clip, yeah.
Another name I'm looking at. I have a feeler in the CLX. I think it's got a huge base. It's really trying to break here. We got the first level of resistance here, 152, 153, and then the high of the earnings day. So I have a small position off these lows right here, but it hasn't given me a big chance to add. Action's looking good. There's a bunch more on there, but I feel like you're going to touch on them. So I'll head it back to you, my friend.
All right. Well, we had Lucky trying to pop in the video. He's ran out. Hold on 1 second. All right. So you mentioned the LW actually just got triggered in. I had a 05 buy stop. So looks like I'm in that one with you as well. Well, you're not in it yet, but looks like I got in before you. Again, I'm keeping a stop for this 98. So LW, like you mentioned, I don't think you'd ask for much more. Earnings out of the way. Flag it out for a couple. Are you in as well?
I'm buying a little bit here. I'm going to add through that quarter. Just
all right. So again, in that
worse than adding size 20 cents for a fucking new high.
Well, so I made that mistake with Monster. Hold on 1 second. So again, I knew
you were going to touch on Monster. That was on my list.
Yeah. But because you were mentioning about you wanted to buy 105 in Monster, and I've been messing around with 104 level. So give me 1 second. Hold on.
You've been fucking around to 104. You've been finding out, huh?
I've been, yeah, but luckily for both. So we had a very good trade in this Monster a few weeks ago, or was it end of the year through 100? We had this nice little 4% move, and we were basically selling 104 at the end of the year, and now we're trying to buy 104. And that's, again, when you're trading, these patterns develop, and sometimes you sell where you're trying to buy months later. So I took this through 104. few weeks ago,
Oh,
got
volume coming
shooken
in.
out, did not get involved in any of this. I got shooken out down through. I basically lost $1 a share both times. I bought this 104, I got stopped at 103. I bought 104 again on
Oh,
Monday.
yo, this LW volume coming in. We're gonna be doing a little live trading here. Looks really good. Looks really good. I'm gonna buy the shit. I added more. I'm gonna buy the hell out of that quarter. I'm gonna buy stop.
Okay, well,
Volume coming in. Do the end of the flag. I like that.
I'm glad my bicep's working for me while this thing's recording. But yes, my main mistake really with this monster is I've been trying to keep a lot of these trades way too tight, which again, for this monster, am I that bummed that I got shaken out of this? Not really. It's not the end of the world because these other trades that have failed for me haven't cost me that much. Etsy, I made like 1%, kind of getting shooken out here. Monster again lost $1 a share twice. So beginning of the month and recently lost $1 share. It is pushing higher, but this is kind of to your point of just waiting for 105. And I even talked about this last week. I'm like, I feel like 105 is just a spot, and it's kind of my mistake for kind of going back to the well here and not just waiting for 105. So
yeah, I've made that mistake many a time.
Yeah, and then this becomes like the tricky part is again, it looked phenomenal, and if I buy it through 105, it's probably not going to work. And this is me being superstitious. And then if I don't buy it,
the amount of times, yeah,
it's gonna work.
Number one thing I'm working on this year. Number one thing I wrote down at the beginning of the year, looking at all my trades. I missed so many fucking easy trades last year because I'm like, it's too obvious. It's this. There was a flag last year in DUK that I didn't take. That was the most like fucking perfect flag. And then I was looking at this monster chart and I was looking at this LW chart, and I'm just like, can't miss that. You just can't miss that. It's just such an easy trade, high probability, high percentage of being a winner. It's like that's like the number one thing. It's like if the easy trade's there, just take it. Yeah. You know, just take this. This is great.
So only other one is this INBX, just from kind of scanning some.
Saw that one.
Charts.
I didn't have that on my radar. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, just super tight down here, and it honestly could really go either way. This could be, a short into the gap fill, or it could be a very sneaky little spore buyback on dollar risk. So I'm leaning more towards, again, 4 days and indecisions at support, but it seems like a little bit more buying in here, that I'm looking more towards the long side to buy up through 24 for a move back in this 26, 27 area. Again, LW in it through, definitely got ticked in because my buy side was 05s and highs are at 11. But the main thing for me lately this week, which again, I've got shook out of Monster and it's still trading higher. And I got shooken out of this TRGP also trading higher. But again, Etsy got stopped out, break even, made a little bit of money in it. And what was the other one? This GLNG, same thing. I'm just keeping these like very like low risk shots. I try to buy 24. This was 30 cents risk, not a big deal. So my main thing is am I a little bummed that I'm not in Monster when it looks phenomenal? Sure. But out of the 4 or 5 other trades I took that weren't working, they were very insignificant percentage losses, break even, 0.5% losses, that it's very easy to go back to those names if they set up. So same for Monster. I made money in it once. I lost money in it twice, not respecting that 105 level. I could buy Monster tomorrow 105, but I don't think I will, given that it's, this will be me kind of buying it. If it goes tomorrow, it'll be the kind of third-ish day up. But if it can flag out for another day or two, I'll have no problem buying this monster back. Same with the GLNG. I'll gladly buy this for 24. TRGP, the 76 is becoming a little bit, like a soft level. It's not as hard as it was before. No pun intended. So that was kind of my main lesson. I mean, you had the.
What pun were you going for?
You had the face one last week.
What pun were you going for, bro?
So that's again, those are just my main lessons, where I'm not too bummed that I got shooken out because I've kept all these other losses very tight, and meaning I can go back to them when they set back up.
Yeah.
So, those are the ideas I'm looking at for the week ahead.
Yeah, it looks good. I mean, there's a lot on the board. We haven't seen the market react terribly negative in this run. Just gonna, stick with the status quo, keep buying the best earnings names. Just keep it as fucking simple as possible. The more I think, the less I know. It's like, I just keep getting that lesson over and over this last, few months. It's like the more a smart guy I try to be, the dumber I am. The more dumb guy I try to be, buying LW, that's being a dumb guy in the best kind of way. That's where all the money is made for me personally. And that's what I need to focus on.
I
I'm
think
trying
that's
to trade
even,
the indices like I'm fucking Houdini.
I think that's even like with,
What?
I know I've been talking with a couple members about, the CPI has been on everyone's like radar for the past, few months. And some traders are going flat into it. Some are sticking with their investments. And for me, I'm like, of course I want to know what's going on with inflation and what's going on with these macro events.
Yeah.
But what's going to happen is going to happen regardless of what I think is going to happen.
Right.
And the less that I can try to mess with whatever the outcome is going to be, the easier it's going to be. So if I want to buy LW through 100 and my stop is 98, I'm not going to change that because CPI is in 45 minutes. If the market's going to rip higher, great. If the market's going to head lower, well, I was going to risk $2 anyways, and I'm okay with that loss.
Right.
So I'm in.
And and what's usually happening is like me personally, because I was doing that too. I was getting flat for these events, and then something would happen, and the market would continue higher, or whatever it was. And now the trade's gone without me, and I'm stuck flat-footed. And that's where I kind of was a lot of January, because I'm just overthinking. I'm like, oh, another macro event, got to go flat into it. Another macro, it's just again.
We're losing you a little bit again, Jake. But before we lose the entire thing, I think we
stupid and do the monkey things that make me money.
You're for all right. So I think you're freezing. But anyways, guys, we got the hoodies in. We'll be shipping them out this week. We have a few left. Pretty much we sold all the pre-orders already. So if you do want any of these, just let me know. We'll be shipping out this week. So with that,
all right, I'm about to go on a buying spree before the close because we're going to break out this flag at the end of this week. Heard it here first.
There we go.
See ya, kids.